Bitcoin market is cooling off, but correlations to 2019, the year before this last halving, when we had right after this very great super cycle that lasted just 1.5 years, it's still decent, I must admit, but we are still a couple months before the next halving that is about to get up and ready in 2024. So it's a great time to analyze whether we have a chance to copy that path of a rally that's been with us since 2021 by 2022. So the question that right now pops out is whether we'll have a chance to go through this once again. Does it mean that we'll have a ultimate, this mega face ripping bull run that everybody is waiting for? As we know, the charts and also spectators of the chart, if I may say like this, the whole Twitter, crypto Twitter, and also other engaged into the market moves are loving to find explanations to different types of market reactions, and we'll try to present you one of the important explanation why this stagnation right now is hitting the market. So despite having many aspects speaking for possible catalysts out of event side, whether it's from ETF side of fundamentally driven type of catalysts such as exponential development of Lightning Network, today we are going to speak about and focus mainly on something that's really hidden into Bitcoin's chart. So stay till the end as we have today discussed sentiment, technicals, fundamentals, and right at the end there will be the possible trade idea. So I'm very glad you decided to pop in. Today is Thursday, we have 8 a.m. ET time, so that's time to start our live. So the first slide for today is what is happening to BTC, and that's what we are gonna cover today. So what are the catalysts of the one of the expected growth in the imminent time? So right here you can find one of the headlines, one of the headings of many of media side of type of coverage, whether Bitcoin is really dead. But we do know that BlackRock insiders say Bitcoin ETF is likely 6 months away. So the whole crypto industry is waiting for this ETF as it may spark the wave of having preceded these ETFs for many other altcoins, not only Ethereum but also maybe such as those as Solana or Avalanche in the longer time horizon. So it may really open this door to the broader scale of a adoption. Right now, the only one thing that is lacking out of the most important features right now is this adoption phase, as we don't know, the scalability is still improving among many of the crypto protocols, but the adoption is the one feature that is yet to be lagging, and the Bitcoin's price and Bitcoin rise is the best marketer of all. So if the Bitcoin's price will rise, we'll have also the higher adoption, at least in a short and medium term. But for the longer term horizon, I would say we need something that will really boost this interest among the head even wider. So the one thing might be this ETF, and also the one thing, another thing is this, that many of pension funds and other type of facilities that is focused on investments will really catch up this bandwagon, and with this SEC having approved multiple Bitcoin ETFs, that will be a massive thing. So Bitcoin is definitely not that, and we are just looking at the sentiment right now. At right here, you can find that Bitcoin historical volatility index is at lows, the lowest point since January. As we just get through this January's type of a chart, we'll just jump to BTC USDT, and I don't need to really explain it further what has happened back then. On a daily chart, it's absolutely crashed right here back in January at the first half, especially where we are right now on this Bitcoin historical volatility index. We can find that we are right now hitting a possible bottom, and with this V-shaped recovery we may find a possible spark upwards. Also, just look at this. A measure of how much Bitcoin swings is close to a record low. So right here you can find that it's at 40% right here, the similar when it was back in 2020. So Bitcoin's 180-day realized volatility right now is sparking. There is a very high odds of having Bitcoin spike again. So this BlackRock event that the company want a special type of a trading Bitcoin may make more people want to buy it, and that is something that may also bring this long-awaited break to the upside above 30k. Alright, so that was the first element of our sentiment, Bitcoin seasonality. Right now we can find that we are at in the month of August, and normally this month is making us to a period where those gains wasn't that decent. That's why the possible acceptance of the type of a price behavior is highly desirable. You need to really deal with the patience if you want to get successful in trading or investing. That's why August and September that are weak historically are not the best weeks and months to find the great volatility. However, that's normally when the accumulation is starting to happen before this central rally that begins on October. That's why you need to have your seat belts fastened, and normally I do recommend everyone to just stick to his bags and just wait for another opportunity and in order to move to the upside. Also, something that also affects Bitcoin's price is this presidential cycles, 4-year cycles, with Bitcoin's August-September week historically, and with Wednesdays of August 19th and September 26th. We need to remember about global seasonality revolving around presidential cycles. So maybe this Fitch downgrade of US that had a point after all with letting out its report at this exactly date, as it right now correlates with this a lower type of a performance between the end of July and the beginning of August. So right now at the market is betting for much more plateau time until this type of a news that's cat the hell out of the projection that by 2025 the US budget deficit may reach nearly 7% of gross domestic product. But for me, it's just a short and medium term pain. For the US, it's still a long way, even though it may by some way will follow the path of Japan when this GDP is this debt to GDP is much higher. It wouldn't eventually mean that the US will bankrupt anytime soon. That's why it makes some jolts in the market. Sentiment is shaking, but with this short-term bearish sign that right now we are historically trying to find ourselves within this mild decline stocks and crypto and position ourselves toward next positive time. That's why you need to be up and ready right for this. Right here you have also Bitcoin average mining costs. So as you can find, this blue line is characterized by the average cost of mining Bitcoin, whereas this yellow line is exactly the price of it. So right here you can find that 34.7 is an average production cost of a token for now, and it normally bodes well for next positive reactions of a market, as you can find right here that whenever the price of Bitcoin was higher on every cycle, price of a mining of Bitcoin at every cycle was higher than its actual price, it meant we were in an undervalued territory. So if the cost of mining exceeds the market price of Bitcoin, it becomes unprofitable for miners to continue their operations. However, in the history, many times the Bitcoin has defended itself and just show everyone that it may stay profitable by increasing its price. So it's a really like of a pain point right here for many of miners, and they will eventually start to drop their tokens in order to stay not even profitable, but their mining actions that will become even the one that are not heading into the bankruptcy. They will have to really take profit out of the mined tokens. That's why it may weigh on the price of Bitcoin. However, if we just get through this threshold of a Bitcoin mining price, will supposedly just run through as it was back in January and January 21 and December 2020, but it's still yet to get proved. Right here you have a sentiment, right, once again, and with crypto fear and greed index at 49 points, we can find that we are right now predestined to move higher, and we are in an accumulation phase before another spike upwards. Another drop below 40s will be the one of the possible concerning point when we may just think twice of a kind of a positive market reaction. For now, the volatility and time is killing many of traders, short-term traders that are betting up or against Bitcoin, and that's what normally characterizes every type of a accumulation phase before the breakout. That's why many of you need to lose money before Bitcoin will eventually breakout higher, but it's a normal type of thing that all the blocks are need to get a little bit being loosey in order to make this volatility spike. That's why we need to clear this type of order books to some extent. What we have on macro right now, so US inflation right here is, we know that is receding, but we are having this CPI inflation gauge today at 2:30, that where the most of the analysts' eyes will be turned. And as we do know, as Fed is really data driven, it will depend whether it will lead the loose fiscal policy or rather strict, based on what the data of CPI will eventually turn up. That's why, if you want to know whether Bitcoin will have a better time to thrive, normally the Bitcoin is the better asset during this disinflationary type of a cycle. But normally at the first phase of a supposed inflationary pressure to come over, there is also one of the spike of a Bitcoin. But normally when we have a disinflationary period, that's typically the one of the environment where the Bitcoin should thrive. But it's all depending on whether the things in economy and this rolling recession will not get worse than it where it's right now. That's why it's recommended for many of you that you will remain vigilant and not become really complacent about this market's inflation and Federal Reserve fears that may remain eventually intact. So that's why also due to current market situation, as Bitcoin is really stable and is waiting for more data out of the economy, we can find that BTC implied volatility versus strike price is right now heading towards 29.5. That's very close to where we are currently sitting at the spot price. If we just look at the derived options, you may find right here that the strike on calls with highest open interest is at 30,000, so that's higher than where the puts are, when the highest open interest for puts is at 28.5, with that many open interest at 9.55, whereas open interest for calls is at 3,570. That's why the sentiment overall is bullish, but before the market will break through any of those thresholds, 28.5 or at 30k, there won't be any really serious breakthrough for the price of Bitcoin. So we need to really study this in order to also examine the price and market sentiment. So right here you can find that was a derivative. Right here we are jumping to technicals, and with technicals you can find that Bitcoin uptrend right now slows, and the only one rescue for that to happen is this Livermore cylinder. So Livermore cylinder was the one of the concept that was also been seen right here in 2020 period, when we had a couple touches on the chart, and that also happens right here with this 2023 moment when we have multiple touches of a uptrend, and many of you are betting for a breakout to the upside, even over 47k. But for now, as we find that may get us a bit longer, as it was back in 2021, it was multiple touches just to power up the chart before this astronomical rise right after. So Livermore cylinder is this concept of an accumulation type of a pattern that suggests major retest before full bull, and something what we have seen also in the studies prepared by Richard Wyckoff, popularized accumulation and distribution theories. Jesse Livermore also found that patterns in highly growth type of assets that are symbolizing a really type of a very strong eventuality that may skyrocket valuation in a very short time period. So after that strong rise, there is very important for this price to stay above this current trend line, and we are right now just trying to hit this barrier from the upside, and there will be a outcome coming very imminent. That's why I need you to look for eventual rebound and supposed rise up after. So BTC USDT, similar to also another very important digital asset, that is a Ethereum, that also built such of a cylinder. We do expect that Bitcoin will eventually rise and rebound out of the boundary. However, before multiple touches right here, I wouldn't really bet for this Livermore cylinder to thrive. So price right now oscillates between two widening trend lines and a full total of even 7 times before acting as a launch pad toward peaks 8, 9 or 10, maybe still to play out, as you can find right here. Right here, Emmet. So that's the Livermore speculative chart, but it very often happens to growing types of assets. All right, so as right now I just went to the technicals, I wanted to also wrap up with the possible trade idea. So we are jumping once again to our chart of Bitcoin, and for me, the supposedly the one of the trades that I would bet on will be the one that will really cross its 31k, and there will be a target of 38.37. So I do expect that the Bitcoin will stay right here for a little moment, and right after will supposedly break to the upside and retest this 31 0.65 with a decent volume. So just observe whether the volume is the one they may appoint for the spike. So with this volatility should rise up, we may see that the eventuality of rising above 31, 32 will be somewhat possible, but for now there is still a very low interest in Bitcoin. That's why, even though it's sparked above this latest week 30.02, we can find that there is still a necessity of rising right like this in order to having this setup to play out. Otherwise, I wouldn't really have my interest right now in Bitcoin. But if you are a medium term or longer term horizon investor, you shouldn't really have any concerns about the thing. Right now, we are getting to our last thing, that's final thoughts, and we don't know that regarding fundamentals, the Lightning Network is trying to drag merchant adoption and user awareness, but still there are many things to yet to be done. The scalability of the issue and also some security aspects still having many of interested sidelined. But anyway, ETF narration is remaining a prevailing catalyst in the long term and price action in a short term. That's why, even though those possible headwinds coming out of the fundamentals, the new type of functionalities that Bitcoin is facing right now, we can find that Bitcoin haven't had a double spending issue throughout nine latest years, and even the PayPal or Visa had. That's why Bitcoin is still in the epicenter of interest of many of investors along the globe. Also, when it comes to a reserved type of a currency, it's also on the spot time, but the only one thing is this really willingness of the centralized world and this central planned politicians to really implement it. If the US will choose the president that is for digitized and this digital crypto innovation, it may really boost the price even above 100k supposedly. But for now there are many concerns, but I'm just sticking around to this narration that ETF will be one of the prevailing catalysts in the next bull cycles. That's why those SEC regulatory issues been eventually fade away, I will have my nose into the grindstone when it comes to a possible increasing my engagement, my portfolio engagement in that digital gold. So let me know in the comments below what's your stance on Bitcoin right now. Do you buy or are really waiting for now? I'm very curious of your attitude to the topic, and also if you have any interest in any other topics related economy or investing, just let me know in the comments section below. I will get back to them maybe with another episode. So thank you for sticking around. It was Wall Street Station, and have a great really